Besicela ukubonga Thixo. Umveli inqanga. Sonini nanini.
Amen.
Ramasedi. Raleboha. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on which part of the world you are in. Thank you very much once again, guys, for tuning into the Hustlers Corner. I am very excited today because I've always just been about empowerment, and I always love it when people take charge of their own lives and just build themselves to just get to wherever they want to get to. So the person we're sitting with now, actually want to give you guys a proper introduction. And before I introduce her, I want to give a couple of shout outs to some new podcasts that have just come onto the scene. Congratulations to all of you guys. Don't listen to anyone tell you there's a lot of podcasts out there you shouldn't start. Don't listen to anyone tell you there's gatekeepers. There are no gatekeepers. You've got your phone and you've got Wi-Fi. Wherever you can go and you can access Wi-Fi, you can change your life. Because there's so much knowledge, there's so many things you can learn online and change your life if you're dedicated and if you're willing to put in the work and be consistent. I do know that all of these platforms on the internet do take time to grow, but do not be your own hurdle, or do not be your own, uskate stop, man. Don't stop sleeping on yourselves, guys. So we want to big up people who are not sleeping on themselves, who've started podcasts. Number one is my brother, our bigger brother, DJ Fresh. We are finally proud of you, Grootman, for joining us in this internet space with a WOW podcast, W-A-W. I'm blessed enough to have blessed his first episode. He invited me as a guest. It's called What a Week. So he basically focuses on current affairs. I also just want to big up Mr. Selvin. Mr. Selvin, we came up together. You guys know him. He's a legend in local hip-hop. He also runs a church. He's a very spiritual brother. He preaches the word of God. He's an incredible brother who's very well knowledgeable in local hip-hop. And I'm glad that finally somebody like him, who's a credible voice in the local hip-hop space, has started a podcast. His podcast is called Prepcast. Check that out as well on your internet. I want to big up Popcast. I want to big up Nkululeko and Culture. I want to big up the Penuel Show, Podcast and Chill, McG, El Tito. There is so many podcasts out there, which is a variety for all of us to choose from. There's also Unpopular Opinion. There is a lot of podcasts that are popping up. But the trick of the game that MacGyver has taught all of us, McG, is consistency. So let's put in the work. Let us be consistent. The more consistent you are, the more you're going to eventually succeed in anything, isn't it? And then lastly, I also just want to big up the sisters, the twins, the Sin Twins. They've started a brand new podcast called I Have Been Through the Most. I want to congratulate them on that podcast as well. And guys, remember, nobody has really a blueprint in this space. It's all brand new for all of us. So you are allowed to make a lot of mistakes. A lot of you are waiting until you get aesthetics, a set, better cameras, makeup. I just say start. Just start. Just pull out your phone and just start filming yourself and just call that a podcast in your house. Put your phone camera there, just switch on the light and record yourself. Now, her career has been amazing. She started with the Miss South Africa pageant where she did it to the top 5. Wow, she made it to the top 5. She then started emceeing for various events and corporate gigs, and then she started progressing to become a presenter, BET A-list, a model for Boss Models. She's now a yoga instructor. She's an entrepreneur. She's worked on campaigns like the likes of Abu Shield, Nido Stanabang, Dark and Lovely, and her social media presence has given her a platform to be an advocate for wellness and mental health. Due to the work that she puts out there for brands such as Abu Cotton On, Abu Shield, Abu Energiade, her talent also expands into acting, where she has appeared on shows such as Istembi, so Generations, The Legacy. She loves wellness, she loves fitness, and she's incredibly beautiful. Wanako Khaye, welcome to the Hustlers Corner, TIDIMALO.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm sure they're proud of you at the Valley.
Man, too much. Val is where it's at.
Which part of the Val are you from?
From Sharpeville, Roestina, Sharpeville. It's not too far from where Sharpeville shooting happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yes, by George Thabo Stadium.
Yeah, by George Thabo Stadium. Okay, and maybe before we focus on the industry and what you're currently busy with now, let's get into a bit of your background. I mean, And by the way, take your time. We've got time. We don't have adverts. It's a podcast. Take your
Sure.
time in sharing with us the story. I'd like to know more about your history. I mean, how did you grow up? What type of a child were you?
Absolutely. So I come from a very conservative background. So I'm a pastor's kid.
Oh, PK.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So I grew up in a very staunch church environment where my grandparents from my mom's side were pastors and my grandparents from my dad's side were pastors. And literally every single weekend we are at church. I'm sure not a lot of people know the church, IPHC. So people know that it is conservative to the T.
I know
literally.
IPHC. Yeah.
Yes, so that is my family church. I'm a grandchild of there, and even doing what I'm doing now was frowned upon so much. So even to get the courage to actually branch out into entertainment took a lot of guts. The time that I entered Miss South Africa, me and my mom fought hard. She even wanted to cut me off, saying that, you know that this is not allowed, na. But at the end of the day, I just took the leap of faith. So that's just describing the fact that I'm from a very conservative background. Ke holetse Roystena, single mom. My dad got married on the day that I was born. And then there was just, politics around my dad's family wanting to raise me. And then my mom's family saying that, okay, fine, they can raise you and they can be involved. But however, I also want to be involved. So week in, week out, I'm at my dad's, I'm at my mom's, I'm at my dad's. So I had the best of both worlds, understanding my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family. Just a lot went on in my upbringing. Parts of it, there was like neglect and, things that led to my mental health issues. Because, as a child, if you're growing up and if there's not a lot of consistency, it kind of leads you to not be solid within yourself. And so growing up, that just led to me developing depression and anxiety, just an uncertainty within myself. But as I grew up, just trying to deal with it within myself, I found yoga. So as a teenager, literally, I found yoga, I found meditation, and that helped me to get a bit of a grounding and anchoring within myself so that I could develop my personality as Didimalo and my confidence as Didimalo despite everything that was happening around me. So that's how yoga and wellness comes into play. I went to school, primary, Alcan Park Primary in the Vaal, Riverside High, and then I studied at Monash. And then after graduating, actually the year that I was doing my final year, then I entered Miss South Africa. I had entered one pageant beforehand, which was Miss Sundowns, and then I also made it to, I think I was the first runner-up. And then after that, I entered Miss South Africa, and I had no experience of media or nothing. I was fresh out of varsity, and it was like a whole new experience for me. And then boom, 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 top 5, there I am on stage. And it was such an amazing experience and an eye-opening experience, such a growth experience as well, just leading me to actually find my way. And also within that journey, yoga played such a huge role in me just being grounded and being confident within myself and just understanding myself, because there's so many things that happen, and as soon as you enter the entertainment industry, so many people have ideas of who you're supposed to be, and if you're not grounded in that, in who you are, then so I mean, that's just a background of me. And then escalated to modeling, and then I escalated to acting as well. I joined an acting agency. They said I should send through a self-tape. This was actually during lockdown, and then boom, I was on Generations The Legacy. So I mean, yeah, it's been an amazing journey. That's just a bit of a brief background.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very, very proud of you.
Yes.
I think I'm going to backtrack to before you found yoga. From when you were still young, a lot of young people are currently going through a lot of issues. There's not a lot of us that sort of think about them. Sometimes we just think about, adult stuff and just the nice stuff, but there's so many issues, especially podcasts like ours are supposed to be focusing on things that young people are going through, Other young people might be going through depression maybe because of acne. Just because maybe their skin is not it's not looking like their hero on Instagram.
And which is valid, eh?
Yeah.
It's so valid.
And that's where I want to take you to. What do you think, what stemmed from your mental health issues when you were young? And because you are young at the time, were you comfortable enough to open up? And who was that person that you opened up to? And I think take us through that experience. So if a 14-year-old is watching now, if my daughter is watching right now, I'd like for you to open up and just make them understand that it's okay.
So growing up, especially in African communities, depression and anxiety and mental health wasn't really a thing. Only now is it really being talked about. Is it really being accepted? Are we really showing awareness towards mental health? But growing up, I did not know what was happening. I did not understand why I was so sad. I did not understand how I was so anxious. I thought that there was something wrong with me genetically. So for me, I did not know until you get to high school, you start using the internet, and sometimes you just want to self-diagnose and just figure out what is going on with me. Why can't I feel like a certain person inside, but what I project to the world is different? What is happening? Like, what is that disconnect? And then you realize that, oh, it's depression. Oh, it's anxiety. And at that time, the conversations around mental health weren't that much, you know. And also coming to my mom, who's working hard to ensure that I'm brought up in a well taken care of environment. I did not want to burden her. So at that time, there was no one to talk to. And also, if I'm going to go to my dad's side of the family, there wasn't anyone that I could sit down with and say, hey, I'm going through this, you know, can you help? Also because the way to deal with things is just praying through God. And there aren't a lot of tools. So a lot of the things I got to find out myself. And I'm so glad that now the space has changed to a point where there are so many resources, there are so many on the internet, there's so many online resources, even social media, where people are just so open and honest about their journeys, no matter what's happening and with how you are triggered in terms of your mental health. There's information. So back then there wasn't information, so I had to go through every single thing myself. So I think to a person who's just going through mental health, I say start by not giving up on yourself and not accepting the deep sadness and not accepting how it is that you feel when you go out into the world. And when you feel like you should be happy, when you feel like you should be confident, believe that voice. Don't believe the voice that's saying that, oh no, you're not good for anything. Oh no, you're going to be sad forever. Oh no, you're neglected. Oh no, you don't have value. Start by believing the voice, and then from the voice that's positive, that's pushing you to go forward, seek resources. From seeking resources, from seeking people who are like-minded, especially because the internet is so vast, then you come with the steps. Maybe you try yoga, maybe you try meditation, maybe you try gym. There's so many different things for different people to get out of that dark, deep hole. So for me, it starts with listening to the voice of positivity, because there's always that voice of positivity inside.
And I think we underestimate the separation of the parents. Do you think it also had something to do with that? Because I'm a parent, right? And I'm co-parenting. I would have loved, or I would have preferred it if I would be seeing my daughter every day.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way, because life
Yeah.
happens to all of us,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And sometimes us as parents as well, because it's a deeper conversation, it involves us.
Yeah.
Did it have anything to do with you having to be drawn between these two worlds that you're coexisting in?
Oh no, definitely, because that it adds to the inconsistency and insecurity, that instability, because when you're being pushed, not even pushed, like as a child, it feels like you're being pushed from pillar to post, but as parents, you're trying to make sure that the child is exposed to both sides of the family. But as a kid, it doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't feel secure. It feels like wherever you are, whatever part of the family, you need to work to be loved. You need to work to be accepted. So if I'm going to be with daddy's side of the family or with mommy's side of the family, there's a certain level of absolute goodness that I have to have so that they can accept and love me. That's how I felt as a kid. So for me, yes, in terms of the separation of my mom and dad, it absolutely played a part. But my dad also passed away when I was 7 or 6. So now I wasn't even being raised by him. I was being raised by his family. So that there was that part of my brain that my dad is not here, and my dad's side of the family wants to take care of me. However, I just feel like I need to work hard for them to accept me. It was just there. I don't know from where, I don't know how, I don't know how to explain it, but I remember just always feeling like I need to be on my best behavior, otherwise I won't be good enough.
I'm really sorry about the passing of your father. It's not an easy one. I'm an older guy, but still, the passing of my dad still affects me till today. It's very easy for people to look at you now and think that what you're saying on Alamaka, you've had it easy. And I'm glad that we are dwelling on your upbringing and some of the challenges that you've had to go through. Were you a every Sunday church type of a girl that was forced to be at church all the time?
All the time. That was my life. And also because my family church is on Saturday. So it would be Saturday, Sunday. So there is no weekend. There's no weekend. Ke Sabata. Sabata liya kerekeng. So Saturday, Sunday, we're in it until I was literally 18 going to varsity. And then I just literally, when I got to varsity, I took a step back. I was just like, let me find myself. Literally let me find myself. But yeah, it was literally pastor, church upbringing. It contributed a lot to the person that I am, being principled. However, when you step into the world, you realize how vast and big the world is, how like certain things that are said could be misconceptions, and that, learn to build the person that you are outside of the fear of the church. Because sometimes being brought up in a church environment instills a lot of fear when going out into the world. Because I grew up when, they said that the entertainment industry is evil. Yes, it has its ups and downs, but however, you as a person are your locus of control in terms of how far you want to go, what you want to be involved in, what you want to do. So things like that, as opposed to just like vilifying certain industries, how about teach people to be anchored within who they are? I feel like that's more important.
I get you. And then here you are, you get to tertiary. You sort of get you can call it mini freedom or freedom, independence. Maybe that's the correct word. Did you already know at the time when you started at varsity what you want to do, what you want to be?
I always knew what I wanted to be, but I was never honest about it because I knew that I would be frowned upon. From a young age, there would be instances where I'd jot down drawings in terms of design, or I'd be looking at movies and know that, that would be so nice if I was there, or just look at American TV shows and really love and desire it. But I didn't have the courage to be honest about it because I know that if I say entertainment, I'm going to be in trouble. Like, why are you going to the devil's playground? So I always knew, and I always would mask what I wanted by saying that I wanted a career in academics or a lawyer, a psychologist. And, I'd see how adults would be proud at hearing that. But deep down inside, I was just like, that's not really what I want. Yeah.
And did you go ahead and pursue and graduate?
So when I got to varsity, I registered for psychology, and there I was going to do industrial psychology. I did my first year, and I was just like, what is this? Then I decided to do something that's a little bit closer to entertainment, which is journalism. So I enrolled into journalism, finished my course, graduated. And doing journalism was exciting because you get to report, you get to be out there, it's active, it's a little bit closer to what I want to do because you also get like lifestyle journalism, you know what I mean? So at that point, no one was really sure where I was going because now you change from psychology to journalism, so where are you going exactly? And my last year, I took a leap of faith and entered South Africa. And I was like, well,
That's
This is
incredible.
it.
What an amazing story. I want to know, how did you hear about Miss SA? I think a lot of young girls since, I mean, for many, many years, for a lot of young girls, it's their dream. And it's always been a big spectacle in the country. I mean, you know, pageants are very big globally. Did you bump into an advert on social media? I mean, what encouraged you to, you know, enter for Miss SA and feel at that time that you felt you were good enough to give it a try, coming from a childhood that sort of was, you know, might have been challenging in terms of self-belief?
So how it happened is that my aunt's friend is the one who's like, "Why don't you enter Miss South Africa?" And I was like, "Miss South Africa." I'd always known about Miss South Africa. We'd sometimes, like growing up back in the day, you would sit and watch the pageant, watch the girls strutting up and down.
And then imitate them, Kunklunda.
Ukilabon.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest, I never saw myself entering the pageant. So my aunt's friend was just like, "No, give it a go." And this was like during the year, and August we filled in the application forms, and then all of a sudden I was accepted, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, so this could be a thing. So let's push it."
And let's talk about the experience in Miss SA. What are some of the things that you've learned there, and what are some of the things that were a bit of a shocker?
So my year of Miss South Africa was challenging. It was challenging in that the things that I learned about how easily and quickly people can hate you, and how quickly people can love you, and that was without even knowing you. So that was very like shocking to me, because when I entered, at the time. The person who was at the time my brother-in-law, who I didn't know because my dad had so many kids, that my half-sister was his wife. So we didn't know each other. And we met each other around that time where her husband was judging the pageant. And then people thought that I colluded with them for me to be in the pageant. And then there was like scandal. And I was just like, "But I don't know these people." Like, I'm only getting to know them now. So from then, there was like a lot of hate in terms of, it's nepotism, family, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of scandal around that. And that made me grow a thick skin to understand that people are going to hate you, girl, without them knowing you, and without them actually knowing the truth about you. So I was like, okay, so this is life, accept it and push forward. And then also just the love and support that people give you, where I'd realized that some other people are going to love and support you without them knowing. So that was the biggest lesson in just growing a thick skin and just having faith and confidence in who I was, because I know that people are going to act the way that they act, whether they know you or not.
But how is it overall? Is it like is it a great experience?
It's a great experience, and it's an amazing experience. I encourage anyone to try it out, especially if they want a foot into the industry. I encourage young ladies out there to actually go for it, because it's such a beautiful learning experience. Just the team around South Africa is so beautiful. The sisterhood that you create and you form with the girls is so beautiful, because like to this day there's some of the ladies that I actually know. Going into the pageant, I thought that there was going to be cattiness. They always say that there's going to be cattiness. None of that. I don't know about now, but there was none of that. So I encourage anyone who wants to do it to do it.
And what year was it?
It was 2014.
Oh, that was 2014.
Yes.
And then you make it to the top 5.
Mm-hmm. I make it to the top 5. I was in disbelief, absolute disbelief that, wow, I'm that girl that I've been watching for years who answers the question. When you get to the point where you answer the question, you've made it. You've made it. So we get to top 5, and there I am. They ask me my question, and I'm answering, and like it's so surreal. You're on the stage, but you don't really realize the magnitude of what's happening. And what sucks is that it all ends so fast. It like literally, during the day, you're rehearsing, and then in the evening is the actual pageant, and then before you know it, it's gone, it's done.
And your one was in Sun City, ne?
And after that, it's just like, actually, I shouldn't have panicked or been as nervous as I was, because it was fun. Yeah. So like, honestly, like, it passes so fast. So I encourage anyone who's going to do it to take your time and relax and just enjoy it, because it passes really fast. Really fast.
But then what it does, it also just gives you that springboard, as you were saying, into
It
the
does.
industry.
It really
After
does.
the top 5, what happens after that?
What happens after the top 5?
Are you getting any calls for people saying, hey, who's this girl? Here's an opportunity there. Or are you disappointed that you did not necessarily win? Or are you grateful of like top 5 girl in the entire country, millions of people, me, I'm top 5. And, you know, just share with me the experience.
It's
after
definitely
that.
a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of disappointment, because I mean, I can't make it that far to not win.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
get you.
So it's like that, man, bummer, I didn't make it. But then, yes, you do get people that reach out because they're just like, okay, we saw you on this platform, okay, we want to work with you. And also some of the judges are like, we want you to come back, please, you know, like, consider coming back. There's so many things that are happening, and you just need to like try to figure yourself out to figure what is it that you're going to do after that. So after that, I went into corporate, because at the time I was thinking to myself, I need to have some sort of stability, because with modeling, there isn't consistency until you hit something that is lucrative. So I thought to myself that this is all great to want to pursue this again, but however, there's got to be money that sustains me throughout the year, and in terms of having to attend castings and what. So I thought to myself, how about get a job? How about have some sort of independence, so that you're not asking, or you're not dependent on anyone for anything. So fine, I get into corporate, and as I'm doing corporate, my boss was so nice that she allowed me to pursue modeling. Then I joined Boss Models, and as I joined Boss Models, I could work and go to castings. So that was nice for me. That was nice. So I had an income of being in corporate, I had income of being a model. So for me, I was very blessed in having a very flexible employer at that time. And also, I developed quite an amazing relationship with my agency. I'm still with them till this day.
Which agency is that?
Boss Models.
Oh, Boss, you've just mentioned
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yes.
So-
it's been around for a while, yeah.
It has, right? So honestly, after that, and it's also assessing, because a lot of people come to you with opportunities, and then it just feels uncomfortable. It just feels like, where are we going with this? So it's also assessing that in terms of, okay, fine, so what kind of person are you going to be? You know, a person that's just taken by the wind, or, you know, are you going to have a plan, consistency? So yeah, so after corporate, I did modeling, then I got into presenting BET A-list, continued with modeling, and then, yeah, got into TV and acting, and also, yeah, so now I'm consistently presenting on Soweto TV as well. So just like snowballs.
Presenting, modeling, brains, beauty, and yoga. It's been a story of my career. People are like, TV, radio, music, speaking,
What do you have to go
DJing.
film, Tona?
You know what I mean? Like, and then,
Which one?
didn't you also fall into that trap of ish, but now ish, and come on, there's some voices that are on some, just focus on one. And didn't you sort of get your, because it does happen to everybody,
Yeah.
where you're sort of not sure, you know what I mean? And eventually maybe decide, okay, this is where or maybe I'm going to push this far, or I'm going to incorporate, is there a plan, you know?
Some things are planned out and some things are not planned out. So presenting was definitely a goal. Acting was definitely a goal. So those two things were definitely goals. And modeling came because Boss Models was available and they liked what they saw and they said, try it out. And I did, and it worked out. So modeling, it came as a result of being poached. So presenting then came where a lady that I lived with in the same building, she was like, oh, you're so bubbly and happy. Do you want to come try out presenting? And I'm just like, That's exactly what I want. You see, God, when the stars are aligning. And it just so happens that she worked at BET A-List. I went in for an audition, and then they took me, and then we started presenting. So, and then with acting, that was a goal. And I joined an agency, and I let them know what I wanted to do, because they wanted to feature me for modeling. And I was just like, with joining an acting agency, I wanted to be specifically for acting jobs. And then I got the Generations, the Legacy gig. So some things are intentional and some things just sprout out as a matter of opportunity and as a matter of telling myself, why don't I try it out? Maybe I'll be good at it.
A lot of black people will say, yoga kintwa mahoa.
Yeah, wait, no.
And let's talk about yoga.
Yes. So with yoga, it came, I started out meditating, like watching online YouTube videos in high school. It was just meditation. I'd sit down, I'd listen to this weird music, and I'd just like try to calm myself. I'm just like, oh, I've got so much anxiety. I feel so sad. I need to get myself out of this darkness. Okay, high school progresses, I'm meditating. Varsity comes, I'm doing the same thing, and then I stumble across yoga. And then because I'm in varsity in the city, I visit a yoga studio. And then obviously when you get there, give mahua fela, give a China fela, and you actually feel like, wow, so this is it's a different world. But then there were one or two of us black people who were there. And I realized how beautiful it was to connect with yourself. I realized how beautiful it was, because a lot of us fear being silent with ourselves and being silent with our truth. And for me, yoga brought me to that. And then after just getting into the practice of yoga, I wanted it to be something that my people would enjoy and my people would benefit from, because I know there's a lot of us who are going through the most, and it could be a tool that they could use to go through or help them through what it is that they're going through. And that's when I started working with Sports Gauteng to do yoga in rural areas, in the outskirts of the country. We'd bring it to Soweto, we'd bring it to Tembisa, we'd bring it to just different places where it's unusual. So in terms of demystifying the fact that yoga ke mahoa fela and we can't do it, that's been something that I really wanted to do, because I feel like our people could really benefit from it.
Why must my daughter join yoga?
She mustn't, but she can if she wants.
Why should she if she wants to? Why should I let her if she wants to?
If she wants
As
to.
a father.
There's so much awareness, in importance in being aware as a person, and you want your child to grow up with a certain level of awareness of themselves and confidence within themselves. So as a father, you know that one day you're just going to have to let her go. Right now she's still here. There's still a part of her that's here. And in doing yoga, you equip her to be strong enough to be herself when she goes out there. So yoga is a nice tool to equip herself to be anchored within herself, to not be afraid to be like, okay, fine, so-and-so, or Didimalo, this is how you feel, this is what you want in life, this is how you see yourself in life. How do you strategically become yourself in the world? So yoga is about a lot of introspection. So it helps you to be able to introspect. It helps you to be able to connect spiritually if you're spiritually inclined. So as a father, a good tool for an anchored, confident daughter could be yoga.
That's incredible. I appreciate your advice. And how has the industry been so far?
The industry has been good. I think I've had a lot of advantage because I'm one of the few black yoga instructors in, I think, the city, and it's growing, it's expanding, and also just the image associated with a person that does yoga has shifted. Because when I used to think of yoga back in the day, I'd think of someone who's a tree hugger, who's vegan, who's white, you know, until I got to do yoga and I understood that actually, no, you can choose to be whatever you want. You can do it, you can do yoga and eat steak. You know what I mean? So the industry is really expanding. The industry is really, and also just so accommodating and opening up to more people. So a lot of people think that you can't do yoga if you are a certain weight, which is definitely a misconception. and also people think that if you're going to start yoga, you have to be vegan. A lot of misconceptions. So I think that it's transforming and it's being more understood, especially because of social media. There's so many more people that do yoga, and you can actually relate to them. Oh, she's also black. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. Oh, he's this. Because also there's a misconception that only ladies do yoga, whereas also men do yoga as well. So the industry is transforming, and I actually like where it's headed.
How have you turned it into a business?
I've turned it into a business in terms of just being involved in the wellness space. With Sports Gauteng, where I would initiate events in the outskirts, in our townships, where we host events to actually bring wellness to the townships, or bring wellness to our people. Or I'd have host events at the Wanderers Stadium. So it's almost like a wellness eventing business.
I get you.
Yes, that's how I've turned it into
Like
a business.
fitness gym people would do, right?
You understand. So, but we also incorporated with fitness and functional training so that it's not too detached from people. They understand how, yoga, fitness, I can try one. Yeah, so it's not just yoga and it's not consumable to people. So maybe we'd start by functional training, and then we'd start by like my kickboxing, aerobics, ended off with yoga. And then once they do yoga at the end and they stretch, they're like, oh, but like I like this. So that's how like I've incorporated it in being a business.
And that's incredible though, because I can also imagine Machita Kokas is like, yo, tangalaza.
That's the thing. As soon as you do downward facing dog, so why am I doing that? You know what I mean? And I absolutely get it. But once you actually get into it and away from the stereotypes of what you're supposed to do as a man or what positions you're supposed to be as a man, you really get the benefits of it.
That's incredible. Now that you've grown and you're older, you've been working, when you look back on your life as a pastor's kid, have you centered yourself around the big book?
Yes. Yes, I definitely, absolutely believe. Are you talking about the Bible?
Yeah.
I absolutely still do believe in the Bible, but I believe it and I follow it in a way that's true to Didimalo.
Thank you.
Not a fear that's been handed over, and not a conception that's afraid to explore the world. So when I go through life and I remember a Bible verse, I need it to be true to exactly what it is that I'm going through in life. So I don't want it to be a limitation, because growing up it feels like you were limited. The Bible limits you, but now when I'm an adult, it feels like the Bible empowers me. So that's where I am with the Bible and spirituality and Christianity.
Why are you taking this career thing? What are some of the things you still want to do?
Ooh, there are so many things that I want to do.
Imagine.
And I feel like I'm at that watch the space mentality. Yes. My journey has been very long. However, what I appreciate about myself is the fact that I don't give up. I don't give up. I still keep persevering for as long as the fire is burning within myself. I keep on going, because as long as I'm not dead, then it's not over, right? Yes. So that's where it is. That's where I am mentally in terms of my career. And I feel like there's so much more that God has in store for me that is even going to shock myself.
And what are some talents that we don't know about you?
Some talents I've mentioned acting, we've mentioned presenting, we've mentioned yoga. I think we've pretty much covered it.
Oh, okay, so you can't sing?
Hi, no. I think I'm tone deaf.
It's crazy when people say I can't sing, and then the next thing you hear them on a hit song.
Really?
And then it just creates another career. I'm telling you, there's people like that where it's just, but then it ends up becoming a career.
I absolutely get that, and you've got those fortunate stories. Yeah, but I don't think I can hold a note for that long.
Sure. You also can't rap.
No.
You also can't dance.
I mean, dancing here just to want to.
Because yoga and fitness people can dance. Yeah. They've got rhythm.
Yeah. For me, I've got rhythm, and so yes, I've got rhythm.
And then let's get into the books that you are reading. Any books that you're reading that are, sort of challenging your mind, doing a lot of personal development work? You're already doing that. You're in the industry. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's what yoga is. But I mean, in terms of books,
So right now, I'm reading a book by Deepak Chopra, which is total meditation. Because the journey of meditation is very long. I don't think you ever get to a place where you've got meditation handled or you've got the skill of meditation perfected. So right now, it's literally with all of the things that happen in life. We just come from a pandemic. There's so many financial implications. There's so many things that are being thrown at us in terms of life that it's so important to have the one thing that is very sharp, your mind to be sharp. It's so important for your mind to be sharp. It's so important to always harness the thing that is going to carry you and the thing that you're going to use to strategically plan out your life. So total meditation is just that thing that's helping me right now in terms of all the time in everyday life, being in that state of meditation and being in that state of being anchored. Like for me, the one thing that's so important is being anchored and just knowing yourself and just being confident in yourself. I feel like that's such an important thing for anyone. And I'm always in a state of wanting to be anchored. I'm always in a state of wanting to be sure of myself.
In the industry, you do need mentors. Any mentors? People that guide you, older sisters?
No, I've just got Nadia Nakai is my friend, which we've been.
Oh, it's Nadia.
Yes,
Oh, that's lovely.
yes, we've been
Okay.
best friends since varsity. So it's been so amazing to watch her journey and just go through it. See her go through everything. But other than that, I don't have mentors.
But it's better. She's already a mentor because
Yeah.
it's always nice to have somebody to look to.
100%.
And who can also relate to some of the
100%.
challenges or the journey that you're also
100%.
working,
Yes.
Because she has been in it for quite some time.
She
She's done
has.
extremely well and she's been very
Absolutely,
consistent.
absolutely. And I honestly absolutely look to her for inspiration a lot because, when a journey unfolds in front of your eyes and you're just so proud of the fact that these things went from conversations to actual reality, absolute proud.
So you guys used to speak about this.
How we met is that my first year of varsity, and then she's like, like we meet. I don't even remember how we met, and then she just made me listen to her music, and we just became friends. And then she'd be like speaking about what she wants to do, the things, the plans, and I'd also be speaking about my plans, and it's been so beautiful to just see it come to fruition and just. The things that we used to talk about in class and going to varsity are now reality.
And how your journeys have unfolded.
Yes.
And you did this.
Yes.
I love the message because if you're young out there at school, it's one of those things. The one moment you're speaking about it, you guys are, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do,
Yes.
I'll do it this way, this is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
And then the next thing you know, a couple of years later, you're in the industry, you're doing your thing.
Yes.
Congratulations, guys.
100%.
And pass my regards to her as well. And just know that, she's also been in our prayers. We've been praying for her, obviously,
you.
since the passing of Keenan.
you.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
let me also just, pass on my barking do ngesizulu even to yourself because you're a part of of the family.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I will let her know.
Yeah.
I will let her know.
And just being her friend. So you've got a rapper friend who's in the industry, and because you can't sing, so you're not going to be featuring in any of her songs. But I'm definitely sure you're going to be featuring probably in one of her music videos in the future. Right?
I've been.
You've been?
You have been in her music videos when she
Oh,
started.
okay.
When she started, I've been. So
the the journey is documented because I like looking at old music videos that I was in, and I was like, that was me. I tell people I'm on the video of Alento, like a professor. I was there. I tell people that there's so many music videos that are. But I mean, anyways, when you watch them many years later and you look back, you're like, wow. Look at what people were dressing at that time. Look
Dude,
at how
I
young
mean,
I
it's
was.
just crazy how far we've come.
Because it documents time.
It does. It does. It documents time. It documents relationships. It documents bonds. It's just like, really? So this can actually happen. This can really, really actually happen. It's amazing. It's really amazing.
And I'm sure they're proud of you at home now, ne?
Yes, right now they're absolutely proud of me. I like with everyone, mom's side, dad's side, we're absolutely good. Everyone's good.
We are also proud of you as your
Thank
brothers.
you.
Congratulations. For me, it's a first meeting. It's a first
Yes,
interview.
100%.
I'm looking forward to seeing your journey unfold. I'm looking forward to see you achieve greater things. There's so many things to do. And right now, that the world that we're living in, we are all here.
100%.
There's so many things to explore, especially for
Yes.
a multi-dimensional person like yourself.
Absolutely.
So don't limit yourself, but you know,
thank you
us as
so,
your
so,
bigger
so much.
brothers, we care about you guys. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Because
so
yes, you are
much.
correct earlier. The industry can have its dark side as well. I love that you did mention that it needs you to be centered. It needs you to be rooted in who you are. You gotta know yourself.
100%.
Otherwise, you know, in the wrong circles, and then it just might end up destroying your life. And I'm just glad that you've been working on God's path. Nkare o ka tswella pele, like o tswelle pele le Modimo as your anchor.
100%. Because, an organic path for me, how I feel like, there's no stopping an organic path. It's like when a tree is meant to grow and be big and huge, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how many shrubs come up around it as it's growing to its full fruition, but however it sticks to that consistency. So for me, it's always been about sticking to a path that in the end, at when I reach my destination, is going to be true to every single thing that I stand for. I don't want to get to the point where my dreams are realized and realize that my path has been scattered and all over the place and there's no strength, there's no foundation. So in me taking my time, in me playing to my lane, is just me ensuring that when I get to where I'm going, the foundation is solid, the foundation is strong, and there's no breaking it down. It's just that consistency, limudimu, trusting that when it's time, when the season just goes, babs, it's the time.
Didimalo, thank you very much for paying us a visit. Your last words, especially to the young girls out there, and wrapping it up. Speak to them.
To my girls out there, it is so important to know yourself. Everyone says that, everyone tells you that you must know yourself, you must be anchored within yourself. But the importance of knowing yourself is that what you're going to bring to the world is unique from your creator through you. So if you're not yourself, you're robbing us of the gems that God has put in you for us. So be yourself so that we can get the gems that come from above through you.
That's incredible. I'm glad that we've done the knowing you part type of an interview now. That's out of the way. I'm looking forward to future interviews where we're discussing a whole lot of other things. But it's been great to know you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
We appreciate you.
Absolute
No,
pleasure.
you did a great job, and you're just so relaxed, and you're a natural. You know,
Thank you.
you do belong in the industry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Big up and shout out to all the other young girls out there with big dreams. You've just heard a bigger sister speaking to you guys. You've just heard her story and some of the challenges that she's had to go through. Whatever you might be going through right now, it is not the end of your journey. There is always Mudimu, you know, to get you through certain things. So they're covering you to become a better person in the future. We're just very proud of listening to her story. I hope it inspired you. We'll see you guys on the next video.